Okay, guys, I'm getting ready to start it.
Yes.
Hey, David.
Eric, you are not in the shot. If you'd like to be, you're more than welcome.
Well, I think you're supposed to be doing that.
You're good. Yes.
He was not in the shot. I'm not sure what the camera's there. Everybody points to the camera, wave at the audience.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Evansville Vanderburgh Public Library Board of Trustees for December 9th. Introduction and form for visitors. I don't believe we have anyone here. Correspondence. We do have one piece of correspondence I've already reviewed, and I'll pass it to the other members of the board to take into consideration and review. We'll move on to consent agenda. Do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of individual items on consent agenda? If none, we have a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And that passes. Governance. Lori, transfer of appropriations.
So I'm going to read a resolution to transfer appropriations between the Library Operating Fund and Rainy Day Fund, as well as our Library Improvement Reserve Fund, where it's been determined that it's necessary to transfer appropriations from and to various budget items within those three funds. Be it resolved that the Evansville Vanderburgh Public Library approve the following transfers. And you can see in your packet, there's a lengthy list for our Library Operating Fund. One of the reasons behind several of these transfers this year is due to the fact that we tried to continue to purchase a lot of our equipment and furniture that are part of the initiatives that are our strategic plan moving forward. And then the other piece of that is that our electronic collection still is seeing very good circulation, and therefore it requires us to purchase a little bit more in the way of titles. And if you're using the Hoopla where we get charged per checkout, then we had to have some additional funding moved to those categories or area. So the big ones you'll see on there are the e-audio books and the technology equipment, which is, again, goes back to our initiatives. The other one you'll see is our health insurance, and that was due to two things. One, we switched insurance at the beginning of October for the new year. We went from Lucent to Consociate. And in order to set up our claims fund, because we're quasi self-insured, we have to have so much money in the pot or in a fund with Consociate so that they can pay out the claims as they're coming in. And once we get completed at the end of the year with Lucent and they get all of their bills and claims processed, then they'll take that money that they have left over and we'll transfer over to Consociate. But in the meantime, we kind of have a little lag time and transition time. So that was the purpose for that particular transfer. The second page showed you the rainy day fund, which we just had a couple of items to transfer between professional services and repairs for buildings. And that was just a matter of how we budget in this particular fund. And the same with the Library Improvement Reserve Fund. we budget as a total for 2 categories versus actually doing a line item budget as we do for the library operating fund. So if so presented, this is approved, we will make these transfers for year end.
All right. Do we have a motion to accept this report of appropriations and transfers as presented, or I'm sorry, transfer of appropriations as presented by Lori? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Go ahead.
Just help me figure out the numbers. 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3.
So within the library budgeting process, along with the other state agencies, we have 4 categories. The first category is salaries, personnel, benefits. Category 2 is supplies. Category 3 is professional service, or any kind of service. 4 is capital.
I follow now.
And why the strange kind of like $5?
On the side, because of some rounding, when you put in the person's salary, in our payroll systems, it uses an hourly rate versus a set yearly salary. And so when you have rounding, it rounded so that it was $5 more than the actual budgeted amount.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of accepting the transfer of appropriations as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And that passes. And Lori, I believe you need signatures on that.
Yes, please on the outside.
And we'll move on to Encumber 2021 funds.
So now that we have all of our appropriations transferred to the correct categories, we have a couple of encumbrances in which it's been determined that we need to encumber funds in the library operating fund and rainy day fund for items which have purchase orders having not yet been delivered and services which are yet to be met to further projects at the Evansville Library during 2021. Therefore, we request the board to approve these encumbrances in which these funds of the 2021 budget will be available once the invoices and the projects are completed in 2022. And that includes $97,000 in the library operating fund and $19,000 in change on the rainy day.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the Encumber 2021 funds. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the encumbrance of funds signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And that passes.
Another form to sign.
And now we have surplus of excess equipment and furniture.
So we've received requests from our IT department as well as some of our locations where we have replaced some furniture and old AV and TV equipment. So we have a list before you that is estimated value to be less than $1,000 per item or a total value less than $5,000 and qualifying the disposal of property at public or private sale or transfer of property without advertising according to Indiana Code 5-22-22. So we request the board declare this list of items as surplus and allow the EVPL Foundation to dispose of these as appropriate. As you see, they all have a zero value. And so those items that are electronics, we will recycle after being wiped clean to CNI Electronics.
Thank you very much.
Do we have a motion to declare the surplus of excess equipment and furniture?
So moved.
Second? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of declaring these items surplus signify by saying aye. And those opposed, nay. And that passes. Next, we have the lawn care and landscaping RFP.
So after reviewing our previous RFP, we normally we issue these every 3 years for our lawn care and landscaping, but because of COVID last year, we held off. So it's been 4 years since we've actually sent out an RFP for these services. And we sent it to 17 different local lawn care and landscaping agencies, utilizing a new list this year of additional vendors and contractors that are business librarian Sierra Handy pulled for us out of our system and out of the local area. So we had a nice selection of people to send it to. It was also posted on our website. Unfortunately, we only received 2 proposals back, which are the same 2 contractors that we've used for several years. And based on their performances, the pricing considerations, and then you can see the attached comparison of the proposals that they actually submitted. We're recommending that the board approve Supercuts Lawn Care for their continued lawn care services in 22 and Stalker's Landscaping for specified landscaping services. Those will each be in an individual agreement with those agencies.
Motion to accept the proposals from these 2.
Second.
For a motion and a second discussion.
Okay, can you tell me what the 1/1/30/1/4?
Yes. So when we put the RFP out, we asked for specific jobs or services. And so for instance, under landscaping, where you see the 1-1-30-1-4, that's the number of occurrences. So it's one-time mulching, one-time spring cleanup, 30 weekly bed maintenance, landscaping bed maintenances, 1 perennial, and then 4 tree shrub care services. And on the lawn care side, you'll see on the far right, on the top is 30, 36, and 1, or 7, and it actually cut off. It has a 30 weeks of lawn mowing, 30 weeks of weeding at the same time, 6 treatments, broadleaf, fertilizer, etc. And then we have 7 for we have a special area out of Oakland that we have to mow called the beet field, and we do that once a month, so 7 times.
Any other questions?
Comment and question. So the comment is that if you take these together, they're really only about $400 apart, which is interesting. I don't know why that would occur like that, but question is, do you know, Lori, how this compares to the previous contracts with these folks? How much of an increase? I would expect that it is an increase, but like percentage-wise?
So one of the things we looked at, if you look at the understockers for their lawn care, seasonal lawn care, they actually had a subcontractor put together that, and they actually did not follow the pricing proposal form that we had asked them to fill out. So that's not even an accurate number for those because Stalker's Landscaping does not actually do lawn mowing. They would have to subcontract that out. So that was one piece of it. The other piece is under Stalker's, their annual landscaping pricing did not go up at all from 2020 or 2021.
Okay.
Supercuts Lawn Care did increase substantially, but it hasn't increased for 4 years. And there wasn't an across the board increase. It was kind of hit and miss as to the locations, why it went up. I didn't get an actual response in the proposal about why they were increasing it by those amounts. And we've had them in the past, Supercuts in the past, do our landscaping, and we weren't happy with their performance. So that's why we went back to Stalker's.
Okay. And Stalker's, I just assumed that maybe Stalker's had told us who they would subcontract it to, and it would be less than, because both these contracts are not to exceed, right? So, it's not like this is exactly what we're going to pay. You're going to enter into a contract to say.
Correct. If they did everything that's outlined in the RFP and the aggregate total of the agreement will be, for instance, Stalker's $42,194.98. And so if they do all the services required, then we would pay out that amount in a year's time. But sometimes, like for instance, in 2021, we didn't need the tree and shrub care and the injections and treatments that we had requested, so they didn't actually perform those services until we didn't pay them out.
Okay.
It's for services rendered over.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other discussion? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of accepting these lawn care and landscaping agreements, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And that passes. Back to Lori, finance report.
What was my voice here a minute? So for our appropriations report as of the end of November, we had a balance of $3,400,000, $1.58 to be exact, which is about 24% of the original budget. And as noted last month, we did pay out the transfer to LERF so that would be taken care of. We could really see a true identification of where we were at the end of November. And then you see a couple of those line items or categories were in the negative or had been overspent, and that then again contributes to the transfers and appropriations earlier.
Report of investments.
For the end of November, we had a balance for all four funds of $12,042,600. The average daily yield for November was 0.0599 or up 0.0061% since October. And our average daily yield year to date was 0.0608, and it was actually down by 0.004% since October.
Sabrina.
So I move for approval of the invoices dated November the 10th of 2021 through December the 9th of 21 for $500,083.10, and for payroll dated November the 5th of 21 for $256,000, $709.31, and November the 19th of 21 for $390,464.36.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the bills for the month signify by saying aye. And those opposed, nay. And that passes. We are now ready for looking at Board of Trustees calendar for a motion to accept the calendar meeting days. Second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? None. All those in favor of accepting the Board of Trustees meeting dates for 2022 signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And that passes. Now we have the staff supplement.
As we're coming up, I just want to remind them that last time we got cookies. Yeah.
That's the problem.
It's a hard door that was spent last time.
I'm Cassidy Thompson. I am the adult and teen librarian at Red Bank.
I'm Megan Melton. I'm the adult teen librarian over at North Park.
Hi, I'm Kelly McDaniel. I'm the adult and teen librarian at EVPL Central. We also have a couple of other adult and teen librarians. Kurt Etheridge is at Oakland, and Caitlin Tobin is at McCullough, but they were not able to be here tonight. We just wanted to spotlight some of the things that we've been doing since we're one of the newer hires at EVPL. So over the last few months, we've only been in our role at EVPL for a few months, of course, but we have been busy creating new programs and increasing EVPL's reach in the community and schools. October was a big month for teen programs as EVPL celebrated Teentober, which is a nationwide celebration of teens and libraries. We hosted events such as a library scavenger hunt, a book discussion, haunted gingerbread house making, and poetry open mic night. We're establishing monthly programs such as study jam sessions at North Park, self-care sessions at Oakland, teen STEAM at Central, teen book discussions at Red Bank, and Anime Foodies, a virtual cooking program that is hosted by McCullough. We've also been establishing positive relationships with local schools and working hard to provide services to students in Evansville by communicating with schools, media specialists, and teachers to share EVPL resources and services. We have been at Bossy High guiding students through STEM activities. We've been at Central High recently, providing library instruction to English classes. We've been at Harrison High School recently, conducting a book discussion with the Student Gay Straight Alliance. We've been at McGarry Middle School recently, hosting the International Club there. And we've also been at Harwood Career Preparatory High and Glenwood Leadership Academy, attending their site council meetings. Our hope for the next few years is to develop inviting teen spaces at all EVPL locations by getting to know each library's unique teen population. We hope to be in new spaces in the community and continue to expand our partnership with schools, collaborate with teachers, and bring library services directly to students. That's it. I don't know if you all have any questions.
What was your position title again?
Adult and teen librarian.
And so it sounds like you're focused on teens, though.
Yeah, I think we've made that kind of our mission starting out, just because that's within our strategic plan. Especially, we've noticed there's been kind of a lack of teen programming, and we wanted to make that our goal for now. But I know plenty of us also do, provide adult services and adult programs as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a question. As you kind of start looking more toward the adult programs, what sort of items or what kind of ideas were you guys considering?
I can speak to some of that for us at North Park. Currently at North Park, I'm working with one of our other experienced navigators, and we're developing ticket mates that actually cross that generational divide for teens and adults. We just did our first one, which was originally supposed to be for teens. It was a straw weaving scarves, but it was such a big hit. It got both the teens and the adults, and we had 47 ticket mates taken in a week. So we're going to be working on more things like that. And we are working on putting together like painting art nights that'll be held once during the week and once on a weekend a month to try to get both groups. They can come to either one, but if we hold them during the weekdays, we're more likely to get the teens who are not usually at the library in the weekend. And if we also hold an option for the weekend, we get the adults who really can't make it during the week due to their job. And that's sort of where we're heading at North Park on that end.
I'd make a recommendation of something maybe you kind of explore is if there's an opportunity where maybe you can look at career exploration, where you have opportunities for adults who are in professional roles or positions, make themselves available or have opportunities, because I know that as teens start looking at where do they want to go and do and whatnot, having the ability to interact with people who are in the role or job or position that they may not have an opportunity to interact with would be an excellent opportunity to utilize our resources.
Scott, anything you would like to add? Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
For your work.
Sure. First off, I just wanted to put out a big thank you to this group, because they've been doing a lot of great stuff and working really hard since we've established this position and created this position. And I know they've been getting out to these schools a lot and working with teachers, and it's been great. I mean, you go to North Park and there's a bunch of teams there. There's a bunch of teams here, and they're not only doing this work themselves, but they brought in the team of other EVPL staff that help. Like there's a whole team that's working with teams here, and there kind of was in the past, but they're just doing a phenomenal job bringing it and coordinating it all together and working as a cohort, talking to each other to make sure that we're not reinventing the wheel everywhere and sharing ideas and coming up with these exciting things to come up in the next year. So they're doing a great job. The next thing that I had, I wanted to give a shout out to Helen Azarian. She was just asked to serve on the National Network of Libraries of Medicine Stakeholder Advisory Group, representing EVPL in Indiana on that particular advisory group for the National Library of Medicine. So that's a really big deal for health librarians, and she's an outstanding health librarian. I want to make sure that she receives the proper recognition for what she does. She's worked hard this year to try and get a blood drive here at the EVPL, and also be a site for vaccinations as well that we were able to set up at the McCullough branch. So she's worked really hard working in our medical community to do things like that. And we had a tremendous year. Please look at the statistics. We still have December's to go, but there are some really impressive things going on with how our circulation has gone up this year significantly, even though we were essentially closed the month of January. We are over 1.2 million physical items and electronic items served to this campus a month ago, which is really, really good. Our programming numbers, thanks to people like these folks over here, are through the roof and doing really well. But we've also maintained that electronic cert and our electronic viewership and programming as well. So it's really interesting to see how some of those things have stayed as we've opened up to the public and still maintained a very large interest. And the last thing for today is we had a great holiday party for the staff, very well attended. And the food was great. And I just wanted to, on behalf of all the staff, make sure we wish everyone here happy holidays and thank you for your service again for another year on the boards that's around the calendar year. And thank everyone for their service because you really do make a difference in guiding our staff to do all the exciting things they do.
Thank you very much. Glad to have you back. And although you put us in great hands during your absence, so glad to have you back. Anything else to come before the board?
I have a couple of questions. Okay. Number one, as we go through our agenda, Lori does so much. I just want to know, is there, do you have a person like you that in case you just, like, can't make it?
Not at this moment, no. I say that because we were set up in our department to have someone take over, but the person in that role has only been here for 90 days. So they're still learning the process. Excellent skills and knowledge base for our department itself. She's picked up most everything that are thrown at her the first 90 days, but getting the person up to speed on the budget process itself, which we'll start over, we'll start working on that at the beginning of the year. But then how we put the budget together and all of that will be something to share with them later on. And then we're involving more people as a whole when we put the budget together, so. But she does help me put some of the reports together, so.
And it's just truly a serious question.
Yeah.
As we went through the agenda, it just came, we need like two of you. And then finally, I had an invitation from my church that we are meeting at the library to hear Monty Skelton, I guess sometime next week. So, you know, when I hear the library, I just get excited. So I just want to give a shout out that I'll be here. And I'm excited. Two of my favorite places, here and Monty. So.
That's next Friday night at East. It is their holiday concert as well as an open house to let everybody see their renovations, open up the meeting room. So if you can make it, it's Friday night from 5 to 6 p.m. at East.
And the old band was here Tuesday night? Yes.
All right, anything else to come before the board? All right. If not, I'd like to adjourn this meeting of the Evansville Vanderburgh Public Library Board of Trustees. Thank you all very much and have a happy holiday.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks.